Want to know the details of how we went from two incomes to one income?
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to His and Her Money. I'm Talent.
And I'm Ty, and we're managing money, marriage, and everything in between. Well, guys, today is an informational video as well as a Q&A video. We're going to be answering a question that a follower sent in to us, but we also wanted to do this video for a while now to show you guys how we tell you about our experience of coming down from two incomes to now one income for our family. And another follower of ours also had a question: what will we do in her case if she makes 3 times as much as her husband?
Ballin'!
Will we advise her to come home? So let's talk about our experience first.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, originally in our marriage, both of us was working. I did not have any plans on coming home at all. You know, I had my degree in finance. I wanted to work in the finance field, and I was doing that. I was in corporate America. I enjoyed what I did. I love helping clients and people, and I just didn't see myself coming home. But in the beginning of our marriage, you always made it quite clear that I had the opportunity, if I wanted to come home, you're not forcing me to work, that I could come home, right?
That's what my daddy taught me.
Yeah. So guys, after we had our first child, I still decided, nope, I think I still want to go back to work. I did just that. And let me tell you, it was difficult. It was a difficult 1-year transition. I felt guilty many a days. I cried because I missed my son after being home with him during maternity leave. It was very difficult for me to juggle everything. We also told you guys, or showed you our story of how our home was lacking. If you did not get a chance to watch that video, we'll leave the link below. But in that video, we discussed a little bit of our experience early on with me working outside of the home and the effects that it had on our home. It was not a good one by any means. However, by the time I was pregnant with our second child, things started to change. I was a little bit more tired. At that time, I was also doing a lot of traveling with my twin sister. She and I both were on this show, Extreme Couponing, which required us, we had a lot of television gigs that we had to go on. So I was juggling work, juggling a husband, juggling a 1-year-old son that was turning 2, as well as flying back and forth, going on different shows, such as your Rachel Ray, your Nate Berkus, and things like that. It was very, very difficult. Then everything hit ahead, guys, because one fateful Sunday morning, I wanted to get some breakfast at good old Cracker Barrel. And I'm still upset about that I could not eat that breakfast. But anyway, as I'm walking in to Cracker Barrel, what did Ty do? She trips and falls over her own feet.
You were pregnant, right?
I was pregnant with our second child. And I said, oh no, I'm getting up off this ground because I want my breakfast.
I'm in the car like, did my wife just fall? Did my wife just fall as she got out the car?
Yes. So I called myself, okay, let me get up, just get on up.
Right.
I got up and I realized I couldn't walk. So I hopped in the car. I said, no, Tyler, let me just take a break. I just want to take a break.
You really wanted those
I
pancakes.
wanted some sausage. I wanted some sausage, okay? And I knew, guys, that something went terribly wrong. And my foot was broken.
Yeah.
So my husband insisted, Ty, we're not eating breakfast. I'm taking you to the
She still
urgent
wanted
aid.
them
I did.
pancakes.
He took me into the urgent aid, and I knew that something was wrong because I couldn't walk on it. And when they did an x-ray and told me my foot was broken, guys, I was devastated. I remember crying, saying, God, why? Why would you do this? But I knew that it had to be a purpose behind it. I just didn't know what then. So needless to say, I was off of work for a little while, still stressed out, juggling a lot of things, and it was time for me to go back to work. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I go into my job. I sat down at my desk, and I then realized my time is up here. I realized that my job was to be at home and to manage our home. And I remember calling you on the phone, and I said, I don't think I can do this anymore. I can't do it. And you said, put in your 2 weeks. That's all you have to do. And it was on a Friday. I said, okay, I'll wait till maybe Monday to put in my 2 weeks. It was a Friday that I had this conversation with you. It was like working that entire 7-8 hours was like watching paint dry, okay? I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So that next day, I put in my 2 weeks notice, and my company had to let me go without my 2 weeks because of the field that I was in. It was confidential, and they didn't want me to take clients and things like that. So I did just that, guys, and wow. Why don't you take it from there?
So for me, man, I was nervous. It wasn't, I had to put on the good face and say, yeah, come on home. Your husband will take care of it all. But there's a problem. I'm in the middle of a transition myself.
You were.
I had gotten out of the military. I had a 12-year career that I changed careers because the Lord let me out into becoming a teacher. And so I was in graduate school. Mm-hmm. I was not working full-time. I was working part-time while I was going to graduate school full-time. And I get this phone call, I can't do this no more. I'm like, well, you know what, babe? You don't have to do it anymore. So, when I got off the phone, I was like, oh, my goodness, what we going to do, what we going to do?
And I didn't feel any of that. No stress, nothing. I'm like, my husband said I can come home. I'm coming home.
So, needless to say, though, the thing about it was, although we did not plan at that moment for it to happen right then and there, mm-hmm. we were proactive with our finances because we knew that it could happen. That's why we're on you guys so much about becoming debt-free, getting out of debt, changing the way you do your money, because you want to be able to make life decisions not based on payments, but based on passion and desires. Now, if Ty had made that phone call to me and we were deep in debt, that might have been a different conversation. But because we were debt-free, and although I wasn't working full-time, we did have an emergency fund saved up because emergencies do happen. Life does happen. Things happen. Ty was steadfast that she was going to be out in the workforce, working outside the home. There was no inkling, no inclination that Ty would have this desire come up in her to want to be at home full-time. But that's life.
Right.
Things change.
And let me tell you guys, it was difficult in a sense to make that decision because we were gazelle intense at this point. We were in our previous home and we had a desire to pay off our mortgage. We took a $210,000 mortgage, and by this time when I decided to come home, we paid it all the way down to $76,000. So I knew, okay, if I come home, we won't be able to do this. Like, things are going to have to change, So I had a little bit of fear in a sense, but at the same time, I put my trust in God. And I knew that I had to trust that God knew was best for our family. And so I knew that things were going to change. We could not probably pay as much down anymore like we used to. A lot of things was going to change because now I lost my salary, guys, and I must make a point. I was making more than my husband. So that was like, wow,
She was making more than me.
No, I'm not saying it like that.
But it was a lot of factors. The point is, there was a lot of reasons to not do this. A, I wasn't working full time. B, Ty is still pregnant. So if I'm not working full time and she leaves her job, where's the insurance coverage coming from?
That's true. And the reason why I said that I was making more, because I know that some of you guys are basing your life decisions on who makes more. And you really should not. You should look at the total picture. And so I knew that some things were going to change, but guys, let me tell you all, now fast forwarding, about 4 years later, yes, we might not be able to pay off our mortgage down as quick anymore, but hey, life is good. We are happy with the way that things are. And guys, it's okay. You might not be able to accomplish your dream and certain goals that you may have quicker, but the whole key is that you will get there. The point is you will get there. For us, it's going a little bit slower than expected because now I'm at home. We're not making as much money anymore, but we're still living a great life. We're still able to give. We're still able to do things, go on vacations. We're not lacking in any means,
So how we did it, we knew we had to change our lifestyle. We couldn't live a 2-income life on 1 income. So if you're thinking about coming home, how do we do it? Know that you're going to have to commit to some drastic changes.
Time.
So Ty did things like finding deals on items, couponing, finding ways to cut down our expenses because, again, guys, if you're going to operate on 1 income, then you need to act like it. You can't continue to just frivolously spend money and do what you want to do, go out eating out to dinner every night. you're going to have to make some changes
And that's the
for your
point.
ultimate
That's
good.
the point. Although we were a 2-income family, we were living off of 1 income. We were doing that for a while at this point. We were using my income strictly to go towards mortgage and to do other things like build wealth, such as investing and things like that, our 401k and stuff like that. So you're absolutely right. So if you have a desire for one of you guys to come home, we would say probably not do it the way that we did it. I just kind of like abruptly came home, but we could do it because we had emergency fund and we were already living off 1 income. Mm-hmm. But give it a trial period. For the next 3 months, bank one of your paychecks and see if you can live off of one spouse's income, because anyway, you should be anyway. Your mortgage, if you have a car note, which that's a whole nother video, if you have debt and bills, all that should be based off 1 income anyway.
So that's our challenge to you. Take the next 3 months and put 1 income away. Don't touch it. Don't try and just take a little bit of it to do this. No. Center your life, put your budget together based on one of your incomes, put the other one away, and you'll have a very good idea as to whether you can do this right now, what it would feel like if you're up for the challenge. Take this just 90-day period and just see if you can make it work, and that'll tell you what type of changes you need to make.
So guys, just because I left work does not mean that I'm not still working. I officially have a job title of our home, and that is Chief Operating Officer of our home. That is the title that my husband gave me, and I take that job extremely serious. So guys, keep in mind, because you have debt does not mean, okay, put it this way. There are a lot of people out there who have debt and are able to still stay at home with their children or whatever their situation is while one spouse works, and they're tackling debt, and beating it. But there's a difference between being in debt and then having a deficit every month. We don't advise anybody to blindly come home without preparing. First have an emergency fund in place. Have your budget in place. How are you handling your day-to-day finances? Count up all your debt. Are you paying off your debt? Will you be able to pay off your bills, debt, as well as provide for the home with just one spouse working? Keep that in mind as well too. So every situation is different for every home. We can't tell you yes or no. We can only share with you our experience, and what we did in our home and how it's working so far. And we hope that this video helped you guys in some way.
So remember, take a trial period where one spouse puts away their income and you all just live off 1 income. And you'll have a pretty good indication as to if you're ready to do this move. And if not, what type of changes and things that you need to make happen in order to be in position to make that move from 2 incomes.
And keep in mind, those who are still working and they're in a 2-income household, that's perfectly fine. But make sure that you're not making your life decision, your financial decisions based off 2 incomes. Mm-hmm. Don't buy a home based off 2 incomes. Don't buy vehicles based off 2 incomes. Don't plan trips. Don't put your kids in school or private school based off 2 incomes. Live your life and provide for your family off of 1 income. Do not get involved in the 2-income trap.
Things can change.
So
you want to be in position financially to be able to go with the flow and make those changes happen if you so desire.
That's right. Well, guys, leave us a comment below. Let us know your experience. If a spouse came home or didn't come home, share it. One thing that we love about our community, everybody is sharing. They're learning from each other. We read all of the comments. We try to reply back to each and every one of you, and we are so thankful for you as well, too. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget, visit us over at our website at hisandhermoney.com and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already. All right, guys. Well, it's been great. Until next time.
Peace.
Bye.